player who scored 4 times in 25 appearances for the Premier League side last season.
Yeah, well, Michael will be in with the under-21 team with Jim Crawford. Is a good player, good talent also. And I think he scored a couple of very good goals last year. So I think it'd be interesting to see Michael with the under-21 team in the up and coming games.
And Nathan and I will be talking about this a bit more on the football show. We'll bring you through a lot of what Stephen Kenny was saying. On the Obafemi point, seen as that's what Stephen Kenny is talking about there, and his tweet, that's what has generated the headlines, Nathan. Like Callum Robinson's in the squad. Okay, he's not a forward. Forwards in the squad. Aaron Connolly, Ida, Troy Parrott, Shane Long, David McGoldrick, pending his foot injury coming good. I mean, there's plenty of ammunition there. Kenny talked about wanting somebody who could play the lone striker position, not something Obafemi has done. And then probably a point in, as a tangent to his tweet today, which was not best advised, Hasselhuddle at Southampton has certainly twice in the last 7-8 months raised Obafemi's professionalism, and it certainly publicly has been stern with him, I would say, and we're then kind of speculating and guessing, but maybe there's something there.
Quite possibly, and listen, a tweet like this doesn't help matters, and it is now the only story, and was probably quite an uneventful squad announcement. Glenn Whelan, maybe that's the end of his international career. Jack Byrne not being in there would have been the 2 stories, but this will dominate for 24 hours. Will he go in with the 21s? Who knows? They may not even have a game the way things are going. So, yeah, there's questions about his attitude. And from his point of view, he's looking at Troy Parrott and Adam Ida thinking, I've achieved a lot more than they have this season. But Stephen Kenny knows what system he wants to play, and both Troy Parrott and Adam Ida have done that from consistently at 21s level in a couple of different positions from Troy Parrott's point of view, whereas Michael Obafemi, for various reasons, has featured very little under Stephen Kenny. So maybe he just needs a little bit of time. You hope this doesn't become a saga. You hope this doesn't become a thing of he tries to call him up next month and Michael Obafemi says, screw you. You really hope it doesn't become one of those scenarios, because he is only 20. He is playing in the Premier League. Yeah. He's had a few issues, but he's a strong, fast, pacey forward, and we don't have a huge amount of them. So I just hope for everyone's sake this isn't some nonsensical thing that drags on for the next 6 months. Yeah,
you would suspect they're trying to smooth it over behind the scenes even as we speak. Now, next story, you know what they say, you need a new manager, you get on the phone to Filippo Giovanni, whatever his name is. What's going on here?
Yeah, Dundalk are reportedly set to appoint Filippo Giovanni as their new head coach. There you go. The Lily Whites parted company with Vinnie Perth on Thursday night, all down to a difference of opinion. Perth told Soccer Republic on Friday. Giovanni previously oversaw AC Milan's summer camps, but has most recently been at New York's Metropolitan Oval Academy.
I know he's a long career. He got up to Serie A C. I'm not sure what the Italian for C is. What was it?
Chi.
Played some Serie A Chi in his day. 18-year career, but I mean, there's left field, Nathan, and there's left field.
Yeah, and listen, the headlines don't look good when you see head of AC Milan's summer camps, and maybe that's very unfair on this man who, as you say, has had a long career within football, clearly has managed in America to make some connections along the way with these American owners. They're saying probably a short-term appointment. The feeling still seems to be that Dundalk want to go out and eventually get a big name, but it just again shows it looks as though it's an absolute mess behind the scenes. When you hear some of the stories coming out of the owners and those behind the scenes trying to influence the team selection for last week, you got to feel Vinnie Perth is better off out there. And it's a real shame also, because everyone had got on board with this Dundalk project just to see where it could go and how far it could go, and really does feel like it's just unravelling at the moment.
Yeah, it's very strange. Lads, why is the AC Milan cool camp director coming in to manage Dundalk? Well, I don't know. He is. Jeff Hendrick, I think this is a good move for Hendrick.
Yeah, seemingly is, especially seeing as Newcastle got rid of Nabil Bentaleb and need a kind of similar player in midfield. Newcastle completing the signing of Hendrick on a free transfer today. The Republic of Ireland midfielder released by Burnley earlier this summer, and he has agreed a 4-year deal at St James's Park. Steve Bruce saying he's been wanting to get hold of him for quite a while.
Usain Bolt?
Yeah, Usain Bolt says he's self-isolating, having been tested for COVID-19. Reports in his native Jamaica claim that the 8-time Olympic gold medalist has tested positive. Bolt celebrated his 34th birthday at the weekend with an extravagant party whose guest list included Raheem Sterling and cricket legend Chris Gayle. The 100 and 200 metre world record holder has advised all those that have been in close contact with him to quarantine.
Good morning, everybody. Just waking up. Like everybody else, check social media. saw that social media saying I'm confirmed to have COVID-19. I did a test on Saturday to leave because I have work. Trying to be responsible, so I'm going to stay in and stay from my friends. And also, having no symptoms, so going to quarantine myself and wait on the confirmation to see what is the protocol and how should I go about quarantining myself from the Ministry of Health. So until then, talk to all my friends and tell them that if they come in contact with me, should just to be safe, quarantine by yourself, and just to take it easy. And just to make people know, be safe out there. All right? Cool.
So, Rich, he's been tested. He doesn't have the results yet.
He doesn't have the results yet.
Okay.
Press in his local in his native Jamaica say that he has in fact tested positive. They were tweeting and reporting on this quite extensively over the course of the last 24 hours, and of that massive party that was hosted in his honour for his 34th birthday at the weekend. I would suggest that Raheem Sterling's probably having an awkward conversation with the medical crew back in Manchester City at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, as an athlete, it's just not something you want to go near. I mean, where you can get lucky, obviously, and be asymptomatic and problem-free throughout, and then it can obviously go a whole different way. Where are we going next?
Ian Barraclough says he's disappointed that Mark Sykes took away opportunities from another youngster that actually wanted to play for Northern Ireland. The Oxford midfielder is switching allegiances to the Republic, having played under-21 football for the North, much like Shane Duffy and James McLean before him. And Barraclough says he was shocked to lose a player with whom he'd worked closely at under-21 level.
For us as an association, look, I'm bitterly disappointed for coaches, managers, the people that have been involved in bringing someone like Mark Sykes through the system. Say he played for me at 21s, but you know, that's just a small part of his development. There's many coaches and managers that have spent time, you know, the IFA's finances on someone like him, and it's disappointing to get to a stage where he's actually been in 3 squads, and you know, he's decided to move to the Republic. And for me, I want players that are fully focused, you know, determined to play 100% for Northern Ireland, and so we have to move on, and you know, it gives somebody else a chance now. But unfortunately, you know, I can't unwind what you know, for a young player that would have been developing at the same time as Mark. You know, you know, what chances that he would have had maybe of coming through into a squad.
Nathan, if we've had to look at the likes of Declan Rice and Jack Grealish go towards England, Northern Ireland have watched their fair share come down to the Republic.
Yeah, look, and they'll obviously point to James McLean and Shane Duffy and Darren Gibson, but I think that's extremely harsh from Ian Barraclough on the player, a young player. We don't know what conversations have happened down through the years. He may well, when he was 15 and 16, said, I'm not quite sure, and been asked, listen, come on in, see what you think. You don't have to make a decision yet. So to say that he's taken it away from the other young player may have made the exact same decision as well. The option is there, and obviously quite a few players take up that option. So I think it's like on a guy who's 21 to be putting it all on him that he's denied somebody else potentially a career, an international career. That, unfortunately, from a Northern Ireland point of view, is the situation. Like, do they ask players to sign a form at 16? Like, legally, I'm sure they can't do that. So yeah. I don't know what the answer from their point of view is. You can understand why they're frustrated, but
no,
I think
right.
to put it back on the player is totally unfair.
And in fairness, we were all very chill about the Declan Rice, Jack Grealish situation as a country. So, you know, just follow our example. Be cool about it.
I was very much on the, listen, Declan Rice, the whole thing, he came through the system. Like, this system is there. Again, we don't know what conversations happened with Declan Rice down through the years, either in terms of his commitment, until you've played that competitive international, and they're even on about changing that now, potentially. I know people, we know people who feel very strongly about Jack Grealish and Declan Rice. I wasn't one of them. Hence why, you know, he got Ireland Under-21 Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Apologies for that.
Yeah. Somebody mentions Paul O'Donovan and Sinead Puspor as well as athletes of the generation. I mean, O'Donovan in particular is probably underrated. He is exceptional, world class, and, you know, individually has won world championships. Probably doesn't get the credit he deserves. That was from Owen in Cork. Lads, where are all these League of Ireland players that Stephen Kenny was going to pick, says Garrett? With Jack Burns on standby for a start, Nathan?
Yeah.
I don't think Stephen Kenny made any guarantees that he will pick players. But what you do know is he has an interest in the league, as I said. Regardless of maybe whether he wanted to or not, he's watching an awful lot of League of Ireland games at the moment because he can't go to England. So he's seeing exactly what Jack Byrne is about, what Graham Burke is about. I know Burke's been in and out. What Michael Duffy is about, knows him very well. So the players won't have any excuses that they're not being seen. They will be seen. And Stephen Kenny, remember, League of Ireland players, they might get into a 40-man squad from time to time. They were rarely getting into the 23 for competitive internationals. Mm-hmm. So that's always going to be the situation, you'd imagine.
Yeah. Lads, he overlooked or maybe just forgot Johnny Sexton in the greatest of the last 15 years discussion, given you focused on whether that person was, quote, the best in the world at their own sport at some stage, end quote. He would surely have to meet the criteria as World Player of the Year 2018. Are you going to add him to the list now? Well, seeing as the list is just me scribbling on the sheet in front of me, I'll stick him down. It's no trouble. Yeah,
why not?
When are we building all these Mount Rushmores, by the way?
Johnny Sexton didn't get on the Dublin Mount Rushmore, did he? No.
Remind me.
Paul O'Donovan didn't get in the Cork Mount Rushmore.
Did he not? Remind me the Dublin Mount Rushmore. Harrington, O'Driscoll.
No, O'Driscoll didn't make it.
Oh, did he not? Harrington,
Michael Carruth,
Jim
Gavin, and
Giles.
There was a footballer, Paul McGrath.
Oh, yeah.
God, it's ridiculously competitive. We'll be talking to Rory O'Connor and Keith Wood after 8 o'clock. I mean, the lingering image, Richie, in some respects, is R.G. Snyman limping off after 6-7 minutes.
Dreadful look for the Springbok second row. He'll undergo an MRI on that injured knee. As you mentioned there, he lasted just 7 minutes of the game against Leinster on Saturday before picking up the injury. Further worries for Munster. Dave Kilcoyne also requires a scan on his ankle, while Jean Klein will continue to have a neck injury monitored. Mike Haley will return to training this week following a calf problem. On the other side of the ball, Jonathan Sexton, Cian Healy and Josh van der Flier all remain in contention for Leinster's meeting with Ulster. All three picked up knocks in that win on Saturday. Rhys Ruddock, Ty Furlong and Dave Kearney will be assessed this week, but Dan Levy remains unavailable for the moment, but is increasing his training load this week following that long-term injury.
Okay, your line is just breaking up a touch, Rich, but we'll see how we go with last two stories.
Yeah, Katie Taylor
Ooh, sorry, that ain't going to work. We've lost you, unfortunately. Nathan, are you okay there?
Something about Katie Taylor. It sounded very harsh from Richie.
I'll jump in. She's been ranked as the number 2 best pen-for-pen boxer in Ring Magazine's first ever women's list. Undisputed lightweight champion is listed below 3-weight world champion Clarissa Shields. Taylor, as we were discussing, defended her titles. A unanimous decision victory over Delphine Pursoon on Saturday. And Shields has criticised the comments of one in the judging panel. He claimed that the 3-weight world champion would have lost to either Taylor or Pursoon. Shields tweeted to say, Taylor does not have better defence than me. I won't be losing or having split decision fights no matter who I face. The golf, Rory McIlroy has dropped to world number 4 after a disappointing weekend at the Northern Trust.
Here's the big story in the golf.
World number 1. I'm coming to it.
Go.
McIlroy finished tied for 65th. He was just the 28 shots adrift of Dustin Johnson. 28 shots. Dustin Johnson was ridiculous over the weekend. And then the big story, as you said, Nathan, in the world of golf, really, Germany's Sophia Popov. Huge shock. She won the Women's Open at Royal Troon. Started the tournament ranked 304th in the world. She considered quitting the sport last year. Stephanie Meadow, highest placed Irish player on 9 over. That was an extraordinary story. They had dreadful weather. She came through brilliantly.
She did. And I watched most of yesterday's round and just completely unfazed on the back 9. Never looked like she was going to lose this. And as you say, world number 304. To put it in context, she's been playing on the Symetra Tour, which is the second string tour in America. And 3 weeks ago, she was a caddy on the LPGA for one of her friends because she wanted to just hang around with her, see what her temperament was like on the course and see what she could learn from a better quality of player. And she wasn't in the field. So she went out and caddied on the LPGA 3 weeks ago and then turns up ranked outside the top 300 in the world and wins a major championship. She only qualified last week by finishing top 10 in the Symetra Tour in an event that, because of COVID, most players didn't travel to. It is just an insane story.
Insane, yeah. The margins in golf are nuts. Like, a tennis player doesn't turn up and just beat Roger Federer as number 3 or 5 in the world, but the margins in golf are just so insane. We are pretty much done. Nathan, thank you. We're back in the football show.
Yeah, talk to you then.
Cheers. And I should mention as well, before we talk to Kenneth Egan, OTB Sports in partnership with Cadbury FC. We're kicking off a brand new series of in-depth chats with some of the biggest names in the Premier League and Irish football as well. We've got some great names coming up. Stay tuned. We're going to have some doozies coming up for you over the next couple of weeks. We're getting the ball rolling with a goalkeeping special. Packy Bonner and Shay Given, who it turns out have an amazing relationship going back to when Shay first met him as a 12-year-old. They're going to sit down with myself, and that chat will be coming your way August 27th across OTB Sports social channels, and you can check out cadburyfc.com for updates on promotions and giveaways. So look out for that. Coming up next, Kenneth Egan.
I'm sorry, you can sit there and look and play with all your silly machines as much as you like.
What does that mean?
Fit to spit?
I don't really know what you mean.
Angry, upset, frustrated, steaming.
No.
Only